I'm just vaping here quietly because I'm going to make a movie quickly. And what I want to say is, in fact, vaping needs a little bit of time spent on it in preparing your vaping materials. So you need to check that your battery's full, and if you go out, that you've got a spare bat in case it just collapses when you're out. So you need to take a battery that you're using in your e-cigarette and another battery for backup. Then you need to take cartomizers with you in case those run out. And then regularly cartomizers need to be cleaned and refilled, and so it's not just e-cigarettes that relieve you from any kind of focus on your hobby of vaping. But think of the money and the time you spend on smoking, going to the shop, replacing your fags, always worrying whether you've got a box or enough for wherever you're going. So you expend the same amount of time on vaping than you do on smoking. And this electronic cigarette replacing cigarettes, I think, is different for various different people. For me, I didn't buy them to vape. I bought an electronic cigarette to have backup in case I was stuck somewhere where I couldn't smoke. But in actual fact, gradually I've moved from smoking to vaping. And how I did that was going out with no cigarettes and just my electronic cigarette. And because I knew I couldn't smoke half the places I went to, so I just took my electronic cigarette. And always the first cigarette of the day is an electronic vape, because if I have a cigarette in the morning, I'm doomed. Then I'm wanting to smoke all day. So I had to play little tricks on myself to gradually wean myself off cigarettes. But I am not the same as other people. That's the way I did it. But I see some people simply take to vaping like water, like ducks to water. Some people just take to it so easily and so quickly that they simply change from smoking cigarettes to vaping. And you know, this smoking cigarette business, all our children, I've got 5 children, they all grew up in a smoking household, because at that time my husband smoked as well. None of them have got asthma, none of them have got allergies, none of them smoke, funnily enough. And so all these health risks that second-hand smoke produces, it's instantaneous death virtually. If you listen to the warnings, you just breathe in one breath of second-hand smoke and you'll drop dead. I think it's all a load of rubbish. Our children grew up in a 2-people smoking household, and in those days you always just smoked in your house, and the children just breathed in your second-hand smoke. Well, believe me, our children were perfect. There was nothing wrong with them at all, in any way. And so, from my own experience, I don't see that those myths about second-hand smoke are true. I think they're myths. And furthermore, physically, I haven't seemed to be affected terribly by smoking. And so smoking does not always kill. And if you're happy to smoke, go on smoking. Don't let the bullies push you into a corner. I have changed to vaping because the bullies have pushed me into a corner. I can't smoke in places where I would normally have smoked, and so especially if I'm out with my grandchildren and my daughter, or we're going to a movie, or we're having a day out somewhere. I can't sort of hurry up and sneak out of the car or round the corner and quickly have a puff on my little home rolled cigarettes. It doesn't sort of look elegant, and it doesn't feel right, and in a way I feel guilty. What's Grandma doing now? Oh, don't worry, she's just round the corner having a fag. So I have been bullied. I think we're all being bullied, and that makes me mad. It's quite sad. Smoking was normal once, and now we've been marginalized. So vaping for me is a release from the bullying, and I feel comfortable doing it. People are interested in it, and it feels right to me. I think that's the way nicotine addicts will get their nicotine in the future. I think maybe smoking will sort of drain away, and in 50 years' time, vaping will still be in. I see the British government are considering encouraging vaping as a safer way of taking nicotine in. So that would be wonderful. That would be right. And all those people who are anti-vaping are very silly, because vaping is much healthier and far better for you than smoking. I've got to run. I've just boiled up my cartomizers, so I want to see how that turns out.